Hello everyone. So before moving with the session, I'd like to ask you a very simple question like, why do you want to learn Android? Just to set the expectations right here. So you can quickly write down on the chat window and I can read out few of your reasons to learn Android. So Anandi says demand in the industry. Prasad says to get updated. Abhimanyu says to get famous. Abdul says to learn it to develop creative apps. Jobin says emerging technology. Jobin, I think it has been there for quite some time now. So it has already emerged, but certainly it is emerging more. Great. Hanuman says growth in career. I feel Android has great potential. Someone says, Ritesh says to learn. Abhijit says need of modern age. Kaushik says I have a tool, I want to port it to Android. Okay. Urma says leading an Android team. Great, Uma. Great. So from the messages that you have sent me on the chat window as the reasons for learning Android, I get a feel like my today's audience is more of a modern age audience and who wants to learn Android because they are very passionate about technology and they want to come up with a very cool app which will make them famous, right? Is that so? Okay. I hope so. So I fall into the same taste and the same category. So I think we'll enjoy this session today. So let's move on with this session now. Okay. Another thing is, guys, during the session, it may be you come up with a lot of questions, right? I won't be able to take your questions instantly just because there are too many people and too many questions will come up, right? I hope you understand that point. So I'll be going through the session and I'll take some logical breaks, okay? Then I'll try to take a few of the questions, but it does not mean that you do not post your questions. What you can do is, as you can see on the screen, there is a Twitter handle and Facebook handle. So you can post your questions on Twitter, that is #AskEdureka, and post on Facebook, that is EdurekaIN. Okay, so I hope everyone is clear that you can post your questions there and our team will be able to answer it as soon as possible. Okay. Okay, Ram has a very genuine question, so I'll be taking it up. He's asking, could you please specify the prerequisite before we begin? Now, there is no prerequisite to attend this session, first of all, okay? It is more of a session which will actually set an interest in Android for you guys, but you guys are already interested, so what you can take out from this session is you'll understand what are the new things that has been introduced in the new version of Android, that is Lollipop, as well as you'll also understand the basic building blocks of Android and other things that are available. So I'll not be only sticking to Lollipop, but we'll also go and understand how Android works and what are the building blocks that are present. Okay? Great. So I'm moving on with the session without wasting any more time, and I hope you are already enjoying the session, okay? So, and you'll enjoy further as well. So we have, here is how it works, like it is talking about the classes in Edureka. So you have got live online sessions, you've got class recordings, whatever session you attend, like you're attending a session right now, you will get a recording for that session. You'll get post-class support. There is a team of experts who is sitting. Whenever you work on Android application and you face some error or doubts, what you can do is directly reach out to the support team via email or call, and they'll be able to help you out right away. You have got quizzes to validate whether you were able to learn something in the session or not. Okay, you have got project work. At the end of the session, you'll be able to apply all your knowledge that you learned during the session and create a final beautiful app that you want to create. Okay, and even support team will be able to help you with that. Now imagine if you try to create an app on your own, what you will be doing, everything that you can do will be your own strength. But when you get a support team in place who will be able to help you in these things, who has already done, created many apps like this before, will be able to guide you and help you out instantly. You'll also get a certificate at the end of the course by Edureka. Okay, so I think you are quite clear. Let's move on. Now, the most important thing, the objectives of this session is, we'll be understanding the various building blocks of Android application. We'll see what is an life cycle of an activity. We'll understand what is app monetization. We'll understand the evolution of Android. You have seen many versions of Android, so what were those versions, right? We'll understand all those things. Okay, create Android application using 5.0 Lollipop. Now, as you can see, this is an application that has been developed using the latest version of Android, that is Lollipop. Okay, now this looks beautiful. There are certain things that are present. The name of the application is Hop. Okay, it is just to show you an application right here. Now, what were the things using which this application was being created? There were animations in it. There was a few more things. Now let's see what were the APIs that were used. Now these all APIs are actually the latest APIs that has been updated in the Lollipop version. Okay, like the Palette API. Palette API is something using which you can insert a toolbar in your app, and using the Palette API, if you are inserting an image in your application, you will be able to pick up colors from your image and use that as a background of the toolbar or your activity, right? So this is something which is very cool. Okay, now when you develop an application and whatever, when you talk about your screen, and if there is an image and if the background is of the same theme or the color that is present in the image, it certainly matches and looks very good. Okay, it is not that you will not be able to do it in an older version. Yes, you will be able to do it, but it will be a difficult thing to do. You'll have to write a long code to achieve this, but using the Palette API, you'll be able to achieve this in few lines of code. It is already inbuilt in Lollipop. Okay, so the Android animations were used, web services, design guidelines, and color schemes. Now, before moving on, let's see what I'm talking about. Okay, let's see that application. I hope you would like to see the application right now. Okay, just wanted to ask, do you want me to move to the next slide and continue with the building blocks of Android, or would you like to see the application, what is Palette, and then go on and understand what are the building blocks? See the application, Ankit says. What about the rest of you? Want to see the app? Great. So that looks good. And it is not that I'll at the end of the session also I'll go through that app again. Okay, so let's see the app now. So before seeing the app, a quick info on that. Okay, I'll not be discussing the actual logic of the application, the code of the application. I'll explain it at the end, but for now I'll just tell that we'll be using Android Studio. That is the latest IDE that is available by Google for Android development. Okay, so and I'm using an emulator by Genymotion. So I've already deployed my app on Genymotion emulator, and I'll just simply run it. So this is an app. So this is a very simple app which is trying to give you an overview of how to use a Palette API. Okay, so this is a grid. Okay, this is called a grid view, a widget in Android. So those of you who have already worked on Android will understand this very easily. But for others, it is simply a grid kind of thing in which you have got columns. Okay, and you can place image or text in each unit, each cell. Okay. Now what I've done is I've placed certain images in each grid. Okay. Now let's say when I click on the first image of the flower that is purple in color, let's see what happens. Now when I did it, the toolbar, the toolbar just used the color that is present in the image, and even the background of the image is purple. Guys, can you see this? Great. I'll just move back and I'll click on the another image. Okay, let's try this one. The second image from the top. Now, as you can see, this time the background is yellow. Okay, yellow color was there. There is a yellow flower and a purple flower, right? The purple flower color has been taken up by the toolbar. Okay, and the background has been set as yellow, right? So this is not, these colors are being fed into these widgets programmatically, and they are picked up from the image, and I'm not setting it. No. Yes, programmatically I'm setting it, but using the Palette API. So everyone, are you clear what palette API is doing it right here? Come on guys, everyone please be interactive. Okay. Okay, Anandi says, can you please repeat the ID name? The name of the ID is Android Studio and it is a free ID given by Google. Okay. Okay, I get that everyone is able to understand it. Yes, Abdul, it sets the background according to the image, the color of the background and the color of the toolbar at the top. Arvindam says, what is the difference between Android IDE and Eclipse? Yes, Naresh has the same question. You can use Eclipse as well, right? But in that, what you need to do is you need to install Android SDK separately and then go ahead and work on it. But Android Studio is the latest, since Google is the father of Android, right? As everyone knows that Google takes care of Android, every new version is released by Google, right? So it is advisable that you use Google IDE because it will be much more stable and it will have more features than Eclipse. I hope that clears your question. Abhijit says, does Genymotion comes with Android Studio? No, it does not come with Android Studio. It is a separate offering by a company, Genymotion, right? And the emulators from Genymotion are very quick and fast. Okay, they are beautiful as well. So there is a plugin that you can configure in your Android Studio. All these things will be taught in your live sessions. If you enroll into a session, you'll get these details. But right now, I won't be able to go through them. Okay. Mary says, cannot able to hear you. What about the rest of you guys? Can you hear me? As per your previous slide, Android Studio, I assume one should have programming skills. Android Studio is simply a tool to work on Android applications. Yes, you will need programming skills and that will be taught in the live sessions, okay, if you enroll into the course. So it is certainly you will have to learn Android, how to program in Android, and the tool that you'll use is Android Studio, okay. So let's move on now. I hope this creates interest in you. This creates inquisitiveness in you to learn this technology. Now, did you know the father of Android is Andy Rubin, and every day 1 million new Android devices are being activated worldwide. Now, this is a very huge number. Just imagine 1 million a day, and when you talk about a month or an year, they are you cannot count the number of Android devices. There will be so many Android devices, and even today, Android is the most used operating system when compared to any other operating system that is available in the market, right? And that is why there is a scope in this, right? That is the reason why we should work on it. Even though you do not look for a job after learning Android, you can be a freelancer, create your own application, and then you can work on it. You can have app monetization. We'll discuss what it is, okay? Now let's understand the ecosystem of Android. Just learning Android and creating an app is not good enough. Before that, you should understand what is the ecosystem, what is the demand, what is that thing that you should work on. How will you decide what kind of app you want to create or you should create, okay? You can create any random app, but it is not likely that I'll like it or I'll use it or your users will use it. So there is a thinking that you should understand what is the real life use case for your application. What is the problem that your application is solving? If it solves a very small problem, even like chatting, WhatsApp solves the problem of chatting, right? So there are many other applications available like this. So you should understand, you should identify a problem that people are facing, a very genuine problem, and if you make an app that solves or simplifies that problem, that is something people will look for, and that is something you should create. For that, you should understand what is your ecosystem. What is the ecosystem of Android? Google, as you already know, is the father of Android now, and it is someone who takes care of Android. When I talk about the OEMs, that is, the companies that uses, the manufacturing companies who manufacture phones and uses Android as their operating system, now you'll find that except Apple has got its own operating system. Even Nokia is coming up with their own Android applications, right? So HTC, Samsung, LG, Micromax, Sony, There are n number of companies that have chosen Android, and because of that, Android is reachable to each and every one of you. Okay. Then comes the application development houses like big companies, Facebook. These are the famous applications that are available in the market, like WhatsApp, Temple Run, Instagram, Angry Birds, Facebook. There are not other like Viber. Okay, I hope you guys already know about these applications. Any other application that you'd like to point out? Write down on the chat window. I'll read out for you. Application that you like or you think is a good application. Candy Crush, Gagandeep, yes, it is a viral now. Twitter, Google Map, GIS, Telegram, YouTube, navigation, Truecaller. Now if you see, each and every of these applications are solving a main problem. Make my trip, okay? If you want to book a flight, you use your phone. You need not go to your computer. If you want to, if you talk about Truecaller helps you to understand, even though the number is not saved in your mobile phone, you get to see who is calling you, right? That really solves a big problem, okay? I hope it solves for you as well. And there are other many amazing apps. So there are development houses who actually deals in developing application, and they publish it in Google Play, okay? And then comes freelancers. All you people who want to create amazing apps comes under this category, that is freelancers, and who want to create applications and then either make it a paid application for users, or even you can give it as a free application, right? So you guys are freelancers. And then finally comes the end users, the consumers who will actually use your application, who will be the end users, will understand for whom you are creating this application, right? So that is the consumers. These are, you should be able to understand the ecosystem of Android so that you can understand what kind of application and how you should develop that application, right? Now let's move on, and we come to app monetization. Now in the last slide, I told you that you can either give your application for free or you ask people to pay for it. Right? Now, when you give for free, there must be a question that should come to your mind. Okay, Ashwin says, could you see my questions? Ashwin, I'll take up your question sometime later. Okay? I hope that is fine with you. Now, I was talking about app monetization. Now, when you talk about free applications, there's a small question that should come to everyone's mind, that is, how will I earn from that application? Because one thing is, it is my passion, but I'd also like to earn from it. That would be much better than just giving it for free. Now for that, what do? You create a free application and you can have ads on your application. Now as you can see, this is a screen of Angry Birds, and below you can see an ad that says 15 minutes free, cheap calls abroad. This is one of the example of an ad that is coming on the application. Similarly, you can have lot many ads, okay, and every application can have ad on it. So this is something using which you'll be able to earn, and this process is called app monetization. It is something using which first you will create an account on Google, okay, Google Ads, and then using that account you'll be able to publish ads on your application, right? This is all will be covered during the course. Great. Hariharan has already answered my question, that is why ads. Even Anandi said the same thing. Okay. Now coming forward, we see a list of questions, that is, what are the various building blocks of an Android app? What is the life cycle of an Android app? What does a mobile app handle hardware? How does a mobile app handle hardware events? How does an app run background jobs like network download, etc.? Okay guys, now I want to ask, are you aware of all these questions? Do you have an answer to these questions? Please write down on the chat window. Come on guys, quick. Ajay says yes, Uma says no, Ashwin says yes, Prasad says yes, Lakshman no. Okay, Shyam says yes, no, not at all, no. Okay. Okay. So I can see there are people who already knows the answer to all these questions, but there are a lot many people who does not know it. So let's move on and let's see what it is and what should be the answer to these questions, right? Okay. First of all, we come to introduction of Android. What is Android? So Android is an open source platform. Okay, it is an operating system, it is a middleware, and it also has got applications. Even the application are called Android applications, right? So it is a complete stack of all three things: operating system, middleware, and applications. Now, the language that is used for developing Android applications is Java, not advanced Java. It is just the core Java for developing Android applications. Okay. Moving on, we come to evolution of Android. As you can see, cupcake, donut, eclair, froyo, gingerbread, honeycomb, ice cream sandwich, jelly bean, Kit Kat, lollipop, and there will be some other version. But can any one of you tell me what should be the ideal first letter of the version? Yes, that's correct. That will be M. Okay. So everyone has noticed this, that everyone has noticed this, that Google is actually following the alphabetical order, and as you can see, I, J, K, L, and then the next order should be M. So it could be any random name. Okay, I'm not sure, but I am definitely sure that it will start with M, and it could be a pie, right? Moving on, we come to evolution of Android. Now this pie chart, this data actually tells me like what version is being used in what percentage around the globe. So as you can see, froyo is 0.6, gingerbread 9.8, ice cream sandwich 8.5, jelly bean 16, 17, 18 API, it is 22, 20 and 7.3, and finally Kit Kat is 30.2. Okay, so this is a pretty old graph. I have opened the latest one. So this is the latest data on Google, okay, developer side. And as you can see, even Lollipop data is available. That is 1.6% of the people are using Lollipop. So most of the people are presently using Kit Kat 39% and Jelly Bean, okay, that is this. So if you have to develop an application, guys, listen to my question very quickly, and this is very genuine question. Like, if you want to develop an application, which version will you choose? Will you choose Kit Kat, will you choose Lollipop, or will you choose Jelly Bean? Quickly answer on the chat window. Vandana says Jelly Bean, Hariharan says Lollipop, Prasad says Kit Kat, okay, Arvind says Kit Kat, Naresh is saying he'll use gingerbread, okay, Lollipop. There are few people who are telling Lollipop, but there are certainly few people who are telling Kit Kat and Jelly Bean. Now, while developing an app, as I said, you should be aware of your ecosystem. I was saying, my point was very valid because I need to see how many people are using that version. I create an application in Lollipop and I'm using all the new features that have been introduced. What will happen? Only 1.6% of the people will be able to use it. So this will be, my reach will be limited to only 1.6%, right? So I'm not getting that big audience, right? So instead of creating an application directly on Lollipop, I'd rather go with Jelly Bean or Kit Kat, who are covering the major versions, right? Now there is every new version that comes into the market has got backward compatibility. What is backward compatibility? It means that Lollipop version will be able to run all the Kit Kat version applications, okay, or the Jelly Bean version applications. Kit Kat version will be able to run all the Jelly Bean applications. So if I create an application using Jelly Bean, every new version will be able to run that application, and hence my reach becomes bigger. But if I only use Lollipop and the latest versions will not work on Jelly Bean or Kit Kat because these are older versions. Guys, did you get this point? This is a very important point when you select your version. Please write down on the chat window. Uma says yes, Kaushik says yes, Yaman says yes, Gagandeep says yes. Okay, lot many people are saying yes. Then I hope you have understood it. Great. So this is a very important point, guys. And when you develop, just developing is not enough. Okay, Prasad says please repeat. So just bear with me once again. I'm saying while developing your application, you should smartly choose the version that you are using. If you choose Lollipop, only 1.6% of the people who are using Android will get to use your application. In other people won't be able to run your application because you have used the latest features, okay? So, but if you create an application in Jelly Bean, then all these people who are using KitKat and Lollipop will also be able to run your application, and your reach becomes bigger. Your more and more people will be able to use your application, right? Great. So I hope this clears your doubt, and I hope you get something to learn here. Let's move on. And I come to the main building blocks of Android applications. So as you can see, there are 5 basic building blocks. That is an activity, an intent, service, content provider, and broadcast receiver. We'll quickly go through each one of them and understand what is their role and importance in an Android application. Okay? We come to activity. Activity is nothing but a screen. Okay? As you open Facebook, you get a login screen. You enter your details there and you click on the login button, right? And then again another screen comes and you see the news feed. Okay, if you click on an image, you see an image, or if you click on the message icon right here, then you get to see the messages. What are these? These are different screens. So what is an activity? An activity is simply a screen which people can see on their mobile devices. Okay. So this is simply a user interface in simpler terms, right? Now, before moving forward, I'll go to the code and I'll show you what is an activity. So in this application, this is the activity. This is one activity. And I come back. This is the grid view is another activity. Okay, this is another activity. When I come to code, there are 2 things that are present in each and every activity. That is, one is a Java file that is associated with it. So the grid view, that the main file was this Java file that is right here, main activity.java. This is the Java file associated with this activity right here. Okay, and there is another file which is designing this activity. That is an XML file which comes under resource, layout, and this is activity main.xml. Okay, so whenever you create a new activity, there are 2 files gets created. One is the Java file, and there is a corresponding XML file which sets the design for that activity. Guys, are you able to understand this? Please write down on the chat window quickly. Great. So this is one important point. So whenever you create an activity, just first thing is you cannot only design it, and second, you cannot only write the Java code. Both has to be done, because if you place a button on your activity, let's say using XML file, you have a button there, but when you click on the button, you would certainly like to do something, open an image, open the next activity, then that action has to be defined in your activity using the Java code. Okay, so both the things are associated with a single activity. I hope that clarifies your doubt. Moving on. Let's see what is the life cycle of an activity. Okay, there are 5 stages that are present in the life cycle of an activity. That is the starting state, running state, pause state, stop state, and destroyed state. Guys, simultaneously you can check on your Android phones as well these things. Okay, you would have seen that when you start your activity, it comes on the screen and you are able to see that. So that time is the starting state. Okay, it calls certain methods. That is something you will not understand right now, but you'll deal with it later when you enroll into the course. Now when you come starting, and when you see that particular activity on the screen, it is the running phase. Okay, now from the running phase, it could be you received a call from your brother, okay, or your mother, or anyone, any friend of yours, right? What happens? Your activity goes in the background. Okay, so that time it goes into the stop state. Okay, sorry, the pause state. Okay, and if the call continues, first it goes to the pause state and then it goes to the stop state. Okay, in the background. Just a minute, guys. Okay, sorry. So as I was saying, when you were using an activity, you were able to see the screen, or you were playing a game. So you'll be seeing a screen, and suddenly you receive a call from your friend. What happens? Your activity first goes into the pause stage, and then it goes to the stop state. What happens in stop stage? your activity is not closed. As soon as you close the call, okay, you disconnect the call, and when you see in the memory, your app is still running, and you can bring it back just by clicking it because it is not yet killed, okay. But when you go back and you go see the apps that are running in the memory and you remove it, it then gets destroyed by calling the destroy method, okay. So these are certain methods that are available. So from pause state, from stop state, when you bring it back to resume, there is a method that is called on resume, and your activity comes back to the resume state. So these are the 5 simple stages that are present in an Android activity lifecycle. Guys, are you clear with this? Please write down on the chat window. Ajay says yes. Okay. Quickly, guys, everyone. Yaman says yes. Okay, Ritesh says good going. Anandi says good going so far. Gagandeep says, how can an activity not be in focus but still be visible on screen? Okay. For pause state. Okay, you would have seen that in certain applications, when you click on something, there's a pop-up kind of comes up, but it is not very prominent, okay. You are able to see even something that is present in the background. In that case, your activity is actually in the pause state. You are still able to see it. So the difference between stop and pause is, in pause state, you still be able to see, like for a message, there is a message that comes up, your battery is low, okay, but something that comes up, but still you are able to see your screen or the activity that is present in the background. That time your activity is actually in the pause state, but if you're not able to see your activity at all, your activity has gone into the stop state, okay. I hope that answers your question. Okay, now we come to intents. Intents are like verbs, okay. They actually describe an action that needs to be done. As I was saying, when I click on the Facebook button, so you enter your email ID, your password, and then you click on login. When you click on login, it opens another screen, that is the newsfeed screen. Newsfeed screen is another activity. So what intent is doing is, intent is helping you to move from one activity to the other, that is switching between activities, right? As you can see right here, so it is a small example, that is, you have a photo gallery app, photo gallery in Facebook, and when you click on an image, what happens? An intent gets triggered. An intent opens another activity in which your image opens in a bigger view. Okay, so this is the right side one is the new activity. So what you are doing here is you are actually switching between activities. You are linking these two activities with the help of intent. Right? Guys, are you clear? No, Bandhana says when activity is in stop state, it shall call on create. Okay. Okay, I'm not moving back Bandhana right now, but I'll try to take it up. Just like on click, Shyam says. Exactly, it is more quite same as on click. That is, you are defining. Okay, there is a difference on click, and on click defines like what needs to be done. So when you click on click, there is an intent. So within on click, this intent is being called. Okay, so when you click, that click gets captured by on click, and then within that an intent is defined, that is linking your activity to the another activity, and the other activity comes live on the screen. Okay. Now moving on, the third component or the building block of Android application is services. Now services are the faceless components running in background. Okay, there are two kinds of service, unbound and bound. Right now I'm not going into that. Let's understand what it is. So there's a network download going on. So if you are downloading something, what happens? Even though you're not seeing anything, there is a service which is continuously downloading something. Similarly, there are lot many things which are being done like that. There is a service running in the background which keeps a check, keeps a track whether something is happening or not, or it is doing a particular job. As soon as the job is finished, that service gets destroyed. So let's see the life cycle on the right side. So once a service is started using on create and on start, it comes to the running state. And once it has finished its job, like downloading an application or something, you're downloading a song. So once the song has downloaded, after that, it will call an onDestroy method and it will get destroyed. So as the name suggests, what a service does, it simply provides you a service in the background. These are faceless components. You do not have to define an activity for that. Okay, it does not have any UI associated with it, and using that you achieve a particular task and then it gets destroyed. It works. Its work is over. Okay, so this is all about service. Now, example of service in Facebook app, various feeds by friend. You get a notification, right? You've got a friend request by someone. Or you get a news feed that someone has posted this, someone has liked your picture, or lot many notifications that you get in Facebook. These Facebook notifications you get by a service. So there is a service that gets triggered and it gives you a thing, okay, there is a update in your Facebook profile. So you should certainly go and check what it is. Okay. Now moving on, I come to content providers. Guys, I hope you are clear with whatever we have discussed till now. Hanuman, we are not going into that depth right now. Let's understand what it is on a higher level for now. Okay? Okay, is my audio clear, guys? Abdul says audio is not clear. Sorry, Prashant says audio is not clear. Okay then. Great. So I come to content provider. Will anyone like to guess what it is? You can write down on the chat window. By the time I'll take some rest. Let's see. People who already know Android, you can tell me what is permission features. Okay, Vandana says. Prashad says database. What about the rest of you guys? Come on, write down on the chat window. Be interactive. Jabin says store data in device. Hanuman says like database. Vinay says methods. Akshay says audio is not working properly. Okay. Guys, I hope you are able to listen to me clearly. Okay. So now let me see what it is. Let me tell you what it is. Okay. So content providers enable sharing of data across applications. So it actually provides you an API for querying, deleting, and updating, inserting data into your database. So with Android, you use a SQLite database. Okay. So to access these content providers, using content providers, you get a set of inbuilt methods which you can use and for storing your data or updating your data, deleting your data, or querying your data with the database. Okay, so it is a layer between your application and the database. You're not directly accessing your database from your app. Does that sound clear? Is it clear to you guys? Okay. So everyone says, Uma says, please repeat. Certainly, Uma, I'll do that. So content provider is nothing but a layer between your application and the database. So using content provider, you are able to insert some data into your database. You are able to update your data or delete a row or query the data. Query means if you want to get all those people whose name is starting with B. Okay. In that case, you are actually querying the database to get that list of people whose name is starting with B. Okay. So these all operations, you're not directly accessing your data with the database just to make it secure. What is the DB used here? The database that is used is SQLite. Okay. Akshat says the audio is not good. Guys, I'm sorry, but can everyone hear my voice clearly? Is the voice fine? A quick confirmation, please. We are good. Okay. A lot of people are saying yes, that means there's no problem. Akshat, I think you should check your settings once again. What is the database stored? Please clear. Okay, Anandi, I'm not really clear with your question, but I think you are asking which database are being used. So it is SQLite. You use SQLite database with Android. Yeah, that's correct, Abhijit. Okay then, I hope this is clear with you, and I come to the final component of Android application, that is the broadcast receiver. Broadcast receivers are said to be the dormant observers, okay? So what happens? Broadcast receiver is someone who is continuously keeping a watch on something, okay? So what you do, if you want to, let's talk about an example, okay? Let's come to an example right here of an alarm, okay? Now, once you set an alarm, you would see that at 5 o'clock, 5 a.m. in the morning, you decided to go for jogging, and for that, you set an alarm at 5 a.m. sharp. And you'll see that your mobile starts ringing at 5 a.m. just exactly at that time. There is a reason, okay? Now, as I said, intents are someone who describes what has to be done. So when it is 5 a.m., there has to be a ring. There has to be an alarm that has to ring, right? So how is that done? So for that, we use broadcast receiver. Broadcast receiver is someone using which I'll be able to keep a watch on the time. I'll keep on checking. Broadcast receiver will keep on checking whether it is 5 a.m. or not continuously from the time I have set the alarm. So this broadcast receiver keeps a watch on the time, and as soon as the 5 a.m. is there, the time is 5 a.m., it will trigger an intent, okay? First it registers an intent that will keep a wait. It will keep on waiting until it is 5 a.m. As soon as 5 a.m., broadcast receiver will trigger that intent, and that intent will ring your alarm at that time which you have set. Is that clear to you guys? What broadcast receiver does? No, Naresh. Services and broadcast receiver are different. Ritesh says voice is not clear. I'm not sure why few people are facing issues. So guys, are you clear with what is broadcast receiver? Broadcast receiver is simply a dormant observer who keeps on observing until that event is happened. As soon as the event happens, it triggers an intent to perform a particular action. Is that clear to each and every one of you? Please write down on the chat window. Yaman says, what actually intent do? Exactly, Haran, that is like both the alarm. Intent defines what has to be done, what action has to be taken when an event occurs. Like, if it is 5 a.m., an alarm has to ring, so that alarm will ring with the help of intent. Okay, Ritesh says, please repeat it once again. Certainly, I'll do that. So broadcast receiver is an observer who keeps on observing whether an event has happened or not, okay? Until that event has happened, it will keep a watch on it. As soon as the event happens, it will trigger an intent. That intent will perform an action that was supposed to be done. For example, when you set an alarm for 5 a.m., there is a broadcast receiver who observes the time continuously, and as soon as it is 5 a.m., it will trigger the intent, and that intent will ring the alarm for you. Okay, so this is how it works. Are you clear now, everyone? Yes, Anandi, that's correct. Vinay says, yeah, yes, move on. So Prasad is asking, give another example. So instead of me giving an example right now, guys, I would request you to give an example on broadcast receiver. What could be that example where you can use broadcast receiver? Please write down on the chat window, every one of you. Great, Hanuman. That's a very good response. Gagandeep says reminder. Great. So the best example would be battery. You get a low battery note. Yes, Arivandan, that's correct. You get a low battery notification. In that low battery, how do you get it? Who sends that low battery notification for you? It is the broadcast receiver who keeps a watch on your battery continuously, and as soon as it is low, it will give you a ping. It will give you a notification that it is low. Please charge your phone. Prasad says very good. Exactly, Prasad. Great. It's very good. Anandi says Candy Crush Live full notification. Okay. Tower of phone same. Exactly, Avijit. That's correct. New mail receivers. Okay. Let's move on then. Finally, we recapture the building blocks, that is activity screen, wall, like the screen that you see, the login screen, Intent is an action that has to be performed, like opening a picture, playing YouTube video. Service is a background job which is used in downloads, GPS, etc. Content provider is fetch data for applications like contacts, phone gallery, or put the data into the database as well. Broadcast receivers are the dormant observers like messages, friend request notification with app in background when the app is actually in background not working. Okay. And the alarm, the low battery status, everything comes using broadcast receivers. So I hope you are quite clear with the 5. And now tell me guys, do you have the answers to all these questions? Come on, tell me on the chat window. Everyone write down on the chat window if you have the question. Okay, Akshat says, एक break तो बनता है. बनता तो है, लेकिन will not take the break right now. We'll wrap up the class in another 10 to 15 minutes. Abdul has a question, continuously is asking the same question, that is the difference between onCreate and onStart. OnCreate is a method, both are methods, okay? And onCreate is a method that is called, that is the first method which is called when you create a new activity, okay? OnStart is an intermediate state. So first onCreate is started, then onStart is started. Now after that, what happens, if your activity goes into the paused or stop state, it does not go to the onCreate, it comes to the onStart. That is, you want to restart that activity and you do not create that activity once again. Does that answer your query, Abdul? Please write down on the chat window. Abdul says thank you. Anandi says, please tell something about Android apps development in .NET. Anandi, you can certainly develop Android application using C# as well, but that is not advised, okay? Because Android uses the Dalvik virtual machine, which is based on the JVM, that is Java virtual machine. So primarily the native language for Android development is Java, and you should certainly use that, okay? Does that help you, Anandi? Okay, great. Supriya says, can you give guidelines of Android app designing? Yes, certainly I can give, but I think we are at the crunch of time right now, right? So you should certainly enroll into the course and understand how Android development works and how this designing is done. Okay, Shyam has a very naive question, I'll say. Please don't get offended. If I develop an application in Eclipse, is that application in Lollipop works correctly? So yes, it certainly does. Eclipse is simply an IDE. Okay. Yes, and Ashwin, it will pick the same color. Okay. Lot of questions. Prasad says core Java will be taught. Yes, Prasad, core Java, you'll get an overview. There are certain recorded sessions, the videos that are present for you, which will help you to brush up your core Java skills, and so that you do not face any problem while developing an Android application. Moreover, there is a team of experts. The support team will be able to help you out with your Java problems, okay, to ensure that you do not face any problem. Great. Mangal says, is it stable? Absolutely it is, Mangal. Mangal says, how to use Android Studio. Mangal, again, I won't be able to tell you how to use it in a short time, but certainly I'll show you the app, the code of the app. I'll try to explain it and I'll try to tell you some features. Okay. So we have got job trends here. So you get a very good graph right here till 2014. Now we are in 2015. There was a slight decline, but certainly as you see, there are so many users out there in the market, and every day 1 million Android devices are being purchased by people. So guys, what do you think? Will there be a job opportunity? Come on guys, write down on the sure. Haran says, exactly, that's the answer. Sure, there will be. No graph, even though the graph went a little low, there will certainly be opportunities for people who have learned Android. Anandi, yes, even for freshers. Not many freshers have worked on Android and they are actually starting their career with Android development itself. Great. Let's move on. Now, there are certain applications that are developed by our prior students which were using which they got a lot of fame. Like there are many people here who wants to get famous by developing an Android application. So we can certainly help you with that. Edureka can help you actually. Okay. Now there was a lady, Mehwish Mustaq, who took up the course at Edureka, and she was the first lady who developed an Android application in Kashmir. Okay, she created an application named as Dial Kashmir. Even if you search on Google, you'll be able to find details on it. Okay, even Umar Abdullah was the Chief Minister of Kashmir, tweeted for her app, that is, well done, 23-year-old girl becomes first in Kashmir to launch an Android app. So this was certainly a proud movement for that lady as well as for Edureka, that student was able to learn and succeed in her dreams, right? Other apps by Edureka students is PNR Inquiry app by Prashant Jain, which is a very handy app. Second was a Blackjack application by Hisham Munir. Blackjack application was a very complex app in which a lot of permutation and combination had to be taken in consideration, but certainly he was able to do it, and it turned out to be a very good app. You will be able to find this app present on Google Play. And finally, there was a Reebok shopping app in which Anubhav Gupta tried to create a shopping cart, right? Now, let me go to the Android Studio and try and explain. Akshat says, can I create an app for my college? Yes, you can create app for anyone. When beta version of Studio comes, the beta version, the live version is already available. Mangal, why do you want a beta version? Okay, so let's go to Android Studio and let's see the code. Now, there are 3 activities, as I said, in my application. There are actually 2 activities in my application. As you can see, 2 screens. The first screen is this, one activity. When I click on the image, I'll go to the another activity. So my application only consists of 2 activities. That is the main activity and the detail activity. The detail activity is the second one, that is this one, in which I am able to see single image and we are picking up the colors from the image. And the main activity is the first one with the grid view. Okay. The previous one, I'll show you. This one is the main activity, right? What is the third one? This is not an activity, it is an adapter that is putting images into the main activity. Okay, so adapter is simply what it does. It is the medium using which you are able to put images into your activity, that is the main activity. Okay, so once you create an activity, a non-create method is called, and right here, as you can see, you are setting the adapter. So the name of the adapter is flowers adapter, as you can see right here, flower adapter, this one, same name is here. So what I'm doing is, I'm setting to the grid view flowers grid that we saw there, and setting the adapter which is putting the flowers into the grid view, okay, so that you can see it like this, right here, right? Now, the detail activity, what it does is, detail activity is using the palette API that is present in Lollipop 5.0, the Android version 5.0. So using this, I'm getting the RGB, the color of the image that is present. So I'm setting the background of the root layout. That is the layout, the exact thing that you're seeing, the background color that you're seeing is being set right here. Okay, so I'm picking up images using the palette API here. Second line is setting the color of the toolbar. So when I come, I'll show you here. So when I click on this image, let's wait for it. It's a little slower than me. Okay. So as you can see, there is a background color yellow. So that yellow color is being set by line 1, that is this one. Okay. The second color is for the toolbar, that is purple, this one, which is being set in line 2 right here. Okay, so this is how we are doing it. And you could ask me a question, you are displaying a lot of images, where are those images placed or stored? So it is stored right here in Drawables HDPI. Okay, so if I click on this image, these are the images that I'm using, which are very big images, but I'm putting it into the grid view using the adapter. So guys, have you understood the flow that we are using right here? Everyone please write down on the chat window. Come on, quickly write down, every one of you. How to make application which is compatible for all screens. Yes, Mangal, that is a good question. For that, you'll have to define your layouts in that way, as well as your screen has to be, your images that you're using has to be placed for all different resolutions. So as you see, there is drawable HDPI, that is high definition pixels, drawable MDPI for a little smaller screens, medium display pixels, and extra high density pixels. Okay, so it is not display pictures, it is actually density pixels. What about layout? There are different kinds of layouts that are present in Android. Okay, so you'll be able to understand all these layouts when you actually start working on Android. Yes, Shyam, the background color is being set on the basis of image color. As you can see, both the colors are being picked up from the image itself. We are not putting those colors. We are not setting these colors. These are only picked by images from this image itself. Okay. So I hope you have understood this. Now let's understand what are the topics that are present in our Android development course that is provided by Edureka. So module 1 will cover the Java essentials for Android. So Prasad, you had a query, your query gets answered here. These guys will be covering the Java essentials that is required for Android end-to-end. Module 2 is layouts and widgets. So there was a question by someone on layouts. It was Mangal. So Mangal, your question gets answered here. Yes, these guys will be telling you what are the different types of layouts and how you can use them. And widgets are something like button is a widget, a grid view is a widget. So there are various widgets that are present in Android. So you'll get to know each one of them. Module 3 is communication in media. When you talk about media, if you have a dream of creating your own media player or video player, then it gets true in module 3, you get to know how to create that. Module 4 is web services. You'll understand how to create web services and use it. Module 5 will be multi-activity applications. Here you will be understanding how to create multi-activity and use all the activities all together and create a final app. Finally, module 6, you'll understand what is database and how to integrate that database into your application and create a final one. Okay, so these are the course topics that will be covered in the course. You've already understood how it works. So what I'll do, I'll simply take you to the Edureka page just for you so that you can refer what they are providing now. So they actually have a wide variety of courses, but for Android development, I'll scroll down. Mobile development. So iOS and Android is there. I go to Android certification course. You click on curriculum and this is the curriculum of Android. Okay, so you'll get the details that there are 18 hours of classes and 25 hours assignment. Everything is available. So guys, I'm sending this link on the chat window for each one of you. Guys, go through it and certainly think that if you are really interested to learn Android, you guys should certainly enroll into the course and learn it. Okay, it is the high time. Do not wait for tomorrow. Waiting for tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes and you will never be able to understand and learn Android. Mangal says got it. So one final question, how was the class, guys? Please write down on the chat window. Okay, Mangal says good. Great. Okay, very good. So every one of you, I would request, please leave your survey at the end of the session. Okay, write down and fill in the survey. Each one of you, I see lot many people, 54, 55 people, I think. Every one of you, I would like you to fill in the survey. I should get each and every one survey, right? And I'll be more than happy. I'll be delighted and I'll think that you actually liked our session. Great. And I would like to see each one of you to enroll into the session, enroll into the course so that you learn it and make your dreams come true. Make a very wonderful app and certainly I'll also install it. I hope. So guys, let's end this session now. Anand says, thanks. Okay, we are already done with questions. So I'll be ending the session. Hope to see you in the live sessions soon. And do not forget to fill in the survey. Okay, Kundan has a question. I'll ask this question, answer this question finally. That is how Lollipop is different from other versions of Android. We launch new versions so that we can add new features to it. So there are many new features that has come into Android Lollipop. One of the features was palette that I've explained it to you. There are other features as well, and hence this is how it is different from other versions. Kundan, I hope that helps, right? Okay, great. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night.